Parshas Lech Lecha, Tavshin Ayin Dalet. I want to thank my new video crew, new for this year. Just want to make sure the tape is rolling. It's rolling. We're good. We're good to go. So now, pretty much officially, we're starting our 5th year of Shiurim. I think actually in a week or two is the actual anniversary date. But we're starting our 5th year. I want to give a shvach v'aidah. First of all, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then what started off as maybe just a little bit of a funny joke, maybe you could tell us your shiur that you're going to say on Shabbos, maybe you could say a shiur, has now turned into over 200 shiurim online. And I want to thank Yosef Motherpearl, the proprietor of this wonderful, wonderful sandwich shop, for his hospitality, and he should be zoiche to spread lots of Torah through his business. The pasuk says at the beginning of this week's parsha, "Vayomer Hashem el Avram, Lech Lecha, me'artzecha, u'mimoladetecha, u'mibeis avicha, el ha'aretz asher areka." We begin to talk about the Avos. This is our introduction to the Avos, and there's so much to learn every week now. The Friday nights are not long enough to try to learn all the lessons and all the ways of the life of the Avos that we have to learn from. But the first thing we see, beginning of this week's Parsha, Hashem tells Avram, leave your land, the place of your birth, from your father's home, El ha'aretz asher areka. So the Mefarshim ask on this pasuk, where do we actually find, and where do we actually see the fulfillment of this pasuk, that Hashem should tell Avram and lead him to the land where he should go? We see in this week's pasuk, Hashem tells Avram, leave and go out everywhere. And then, El ha'aretz asher areka, we never really see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Avram Avinu, this is the place where you should go. This is the place where you should stop. So the Sforno answers that the pasuk, what the pasuk actually means over here, is that Avraham Avinu should go. Hashem is telling Avraham Avinu, you go until you feel ha'aretz asher areka. You keep walking. You keep going. But when you feel the kedusha of Hashem, when you feel a special holiness, that's where you should stop. Like the pasuk says later, that Avraham Avinu did not settle until he saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The pasuk says, Vayavor Avram ba'aretz ad mekayim Shechem, until Shechem. And then the pasuk continues, Vayero Elov Hashem Vayomer. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed himself to Avraham Avinu. Vayomer l'zarachon osati es ha'aretz hazois. Once Avraham Avinu got to Eretz Yisrael. So in Chutz La'aretz, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was only able to give Avraham Avinu an Amira. He was only able to be where HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu could not reveal himself to Avraham until when? Until El ha'aretz asher areka. When you come to a land and you come to a place, and anyone who's been to Eretz Yisrael knows it's real, when you come to a place that you actually feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's the place that I want you to stop. That's where there is Gilui HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's where there is Gilui Shechina. And Taka, the Nesivos Shalom says, based on this Sforno, that Avraham Avinu kept walking. He kept going without knowing really where to stop. But when he got to Eretz Yisrael, right away, Vayera Hashem el Avram. Avram was able to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it is right then that Avraham Avinu knew that this is the place. And as soon as he noticed was the place, we see the pasuk, Vayiven Shom Mizbeach LaHashem Hanira Elav. Right then Avraham Avinu knew it was time to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That he thanked Hashem that now he is zoicha to see Hashem. The Kuzari writes in Maimer Beis that this level of Gilui Hashem, a person is only able to reach in Eretz Yisrael. The pasuk says in Chumash Devarim, Eretz asher Hashem alekecha doireish oisa tamid einei Hashem alekecha. But the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu are constantly on Eretz Yisrael. Mereishis hashana ve'ad achri shana. the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is constantly paying attention to where? To Eretz Yisrael. And that's the mile of Eretz Yisrael. The mile of Eretz Yisrael is that the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kaviyachol, are always focused, and they're always on Eretz Yisrael. There's a special hashgacha pratis in Eretz Yisrael. It is not being run as it is in Chutz La'aretz by the Sarim Lamala. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has emissaries and messengers that He can send to take care of things in Chutz La'aretz. But if you want a real connection, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is really only connected. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Himself chooses to run all matters only where? Only in Eretz Yisrael. It is direct. There's a special hashgacha, and that's a hashgacha what the Nesivos Shalom refers to, which we'll see in a few weeks in the parsha, that there are two different types of hashgacha. There is one, like we see by Yaakov Avinu, it's called Sulam Mutzav Arza, where you could reach for the Shamayim, you can do things up to Shamayim. We got a little bit of a distraction, a little radio behind us, if you don't mind. We have a Sulam Mutzav Arza, where you could reach for the Shamayim, but the ladder is based on the ground. It's a hashgacha which is based on the earth, on this earth. And that is where it's set in normal nature. It's regular. And for that hashgacha, we daven on Rosh Hashanah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to our tefillas Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and then He sets the mahalach that it's going to go in Chutz La'aretz. Sulam Mutzav Arza. It's based on nature. And then there's another special hashgacha. That's V'hinei Hashem Nitzav Olav, and that's a further pasuk over there in by Yaakov Avinu. V'hinei Hashem Nitzav Olav. There's a Hanhoga El Yoina where HaKadosh Baruch Hu Himself is being noyeg, and that Hanhoga is not said on Rosh Hashanah. And the more bitachon and amunah that a person has, and the more a person is connected with Eretz Yisrael, the more you're zoichet to such intervention. It's not said on Rosh Hashanah, Mereishis Hashanah Vat Achri Shana. And that is only in Eretz Yisrael, where Tamid Einei Hashem Alekecha Ba. Every day is like Rosh Hashanah in Eretz Yisrael. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avram Avinu. El ha'aretz asher areka. Go to the land of what? Go to the land where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always available. Go and keep going. I'm not going to tell you exactly where and when to stop, but I'm telling you to go until you feel like the place where Tamid Einei Hashem Alekecha Ba, El Haaretz Asher Areka, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where Hashem is always available and watching over you, where Hashem is guiding things. The Nesivos Shalom says there's another very special thing that is unique to Eretz Yisrael, and that is Areka. That word in the pasuk, the Segula of Eretz Yisrael, says in Nesivos Shalom, is that if a person goes to Eretz Yisrael and he opens his eyes, Areka, he could see the Hashgacha Pratis right in front of him. The Gemara in Ksuvas, Daf Kuf Yud Amud Beis, says that Kol Hador B'Chutz La'aretz, anybody who lives in Chutz La'aretz, and of course, unfortunately, all of us sitting here are a bit guilty of this, but Kol Hador B'Chutz La'aretz, Doimer Kemi She'ein Lo Yelekach. And we know, obviously, there are many, many people that of course do believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And unfortunately, for one reason or another, we still live in Chutz La'aretz. So what does it mean? Like he doesn't have HaKadosh, but he doesn't have a God? Because in Chutz La'aretz, it's hard to see Hashgacha Pratis, what in comparison to Eretz Yisrael. So Doimer, it is as if he's compared to someone who lives in Eretz Yisrael, it's as if he doesn't have a God, as if he can't feel, he can't see Hashgacha, he can't see HaKadosh Baruch Hu right in front of him. The Nesivos Shalom brings down something very interesting also. He says there's a special madrega. We all know a few weeks ago, we all passed Rosh Hashanah, and everybody prepares for Rosh Hashanah, and we come to a special madrega on Rosh Hashanah. We all felt it. We all know you come to shul on Rosh Hashanah for one reason or another, because of tshuva, davening, tzibur, whatever it is, we feel special on Rosh Hashanah. The Nesivos Shalom says that when you live in Eretz Yisrael, you have a responsibility to be that way every day. Because every day is like Rosh Hashanah. Tamid Einei Hashem Alekecha Ba. Hashem judges Eretz Yisrael every single day. You're able to ask. You're that close to Hashem. You're able to ask for things every day. But it also comes with the responsibility of knowing that the Melech Malchei Amlachim is right there with you. And we need to repeat something that we've mentioned a few times in the past. we know that the neshama of the entire universe, the neshama of the entire world is Eretz Yisrael. And Eretz Yisrael is a place where a person is able to reach their own personal highest madrega. But what is it like? It's like when you plant a vineyard, right? So you look for the most fertile ground. You look for the best place to plant the grapes. You could plant grapes in many different places. But the neshama of a yid, a person, a yid, is like that vine that you want to plant in your vineyard. You look for the best place to put it. A person can thrive in many places. But if you really want to thrive to your complete potential, that has to be in Eretz Yisrael. But we need to add something on to that, Zok and Nesivos Shalom. A vineyard, even if it's in the best place and in the best climate, you can have all the milas. You put the vineyard just in the right place, but it still needs constant work. A person can't feel, okay, I'm going to pick myself up, I'm going to move to Eretz Yisrael, I'm going to have all the milas, I'm going to be in the place that is most fit for me, I'm going to be in the best environment, but I'm going to lay back and do nothing. No. A vineyard, you could put it in the best, you could plant it on the most fertile ground, but if you don't work on it, if you don't work on yourself, if a person doesn't work on themselves, you could be in the best place, it's still not the recipe of success for a yid. And this whole inyan of bracha, and all the brachas that were given here in this week's Parsha to Avram Avinu, all these brachas are l'mayla min hateva. So all the brachas are totally in what? The brachas are totally in Lech Lecha me'artzecha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I want to give you brachas that are l'mayla miderech hateva, which even you, Avram Avinu, cannot imagine how great these brachas are going to be that I want to give to your children. But this is a condition. Lech Lecha el ha'aretz asher areka. Go until you feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we have to remember that as people that I know many people in Eretz Yisrael are watching this year also, so you're the lucky ones, you're the fortunate ones. But many people who live in Chutz La'aretz, where people they build castles and buy beautiful things, and they make a Kadosh Baruch Hu think that, listen, we one day we wouldn't mind if Mashiach came and we'd end up in Eretz Yisrael, but in the meantime we've got to put our roots down here. No. The roots of a person has to always know that my roots are in Eretz Yisrael. The place where I can thrive, the place where I can go. If I want to receive these unbelievably beautiful brachas, ve'yeh bracha, v'agad l'shemecha, k'choich ve'ashamayim, k'choil asher S.S.S. hayom, all these brachas that were given to the Avos, that's in Eretz Yisrael. Let's keep that in mind. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shetaka, be ready to give His brachas to us who are the children of Avraham Avinu, and we should be zoiche to receive all the brachas that begin, that in this week's parsha we begin just to talk about it. It's kedai, learn the parsha, go through it. They're beautiful. There's so much to learn. We should all be zoicha to these brachas.